Hi everyone, my name's Miranda and today we're going to be working on crossing our midline. So, first of all, what's our midline? Our midline is when there's a line drawn right down the center of our body. And today we're going to work on crossing that with our activity. So, a couple of rules for today's activity to make it easier or more difficult for yourself. The first thing that you can do is choose different weighted objects to move across our midline. Something a little bit lighter could be a pen. Something a little bit heavier could be a can of soup. You can pick anything between those two or even a little bit further past them. All depends on what you want to do and how comfortable you feel with a certain weight. So our first object for today is we're going to move all the items on this side in the green to this side on the red, crossing our midline. We're going to do that by sliding first. So we're going to slide our objects across our midline. See how my body's staying in the same place and my arm is crossing that center line that we talked about earlier? I want to make sure everything gets across that and that our body keeps moving from the green to the red. Now, since we did it on that side, we have to go back the other way and slide all of our objects back. Awesome. Now that's the easiest thing that we can do today. To make it a little bit more difficult, we can either separate our binders further to either side so that we still have a midline, but now we need to cross it a little bit more to get it to where it needs to go. Also with this way, we'll have to lift our objects instead of sliding them, so we can work on a little bit of strength. So, here we go. You can start moving your objects across your midline from side to side. Remember, that means we're crossing that middle line every time we go. With every object. No breaks, it's got to get from the green to the red. Now if you want, you can also use both hands to grip and move both parts of your body across your midline. Might make it a little bit easier to grip the objects that you chose, or you can just be working on crossing midline a little bit more than you would with one side. So that's another level to this. An even harder level that we can do is taking our objects and adding an obstacle. By that I mean something like a loop or a figure eight. So for example, when you pick up your object to move it across your midline, we can do that multiple times before we even make it across to the red. So we can pick it up, do a circle, see how we crossed our midline over here, and then we brought it back, and then we kept it on that side of our midline. And we can make that circle with every object that we choose to move over. See? The more you do it, the easier it gets. Or the harder depending on the weights of the objects that you chose. We might be working out our muscles a little bit more than we thought today. So we can do the same thing going back to cross our midline again, making that circle to cross with every object that we chose. And keep just moving them across and back across that midline as we keep on going. Awesome job! Now, one of our more tricky options for today would also be backing up from your table or where your two spots are set on either side of your midline. And we can do a full arm extension and make a big arc as we go across. So it's almost like a bridge going as we cross our midline. And just keep moving them across. Remember, you can choose to do each added level, or you can stick to an easier level if that's what you feel comfortable with. So remember, just make those nice big arcs to keep moving our body across our midline. Notice how your body's staying in the middle and everything else is moving across the line. So there's some simple exercises to work with moving across the midline, and I hope you guys can come up with some more for maybe different parts of your body.